Welcome back to our IAS channel. The lecture series on ethics, integrity, aptitude has come up to another level of understanding the applied ethics part, which is also the ethics in international relationships. Why do we need a good relationships in the international platform? To shape, build a community that is respecting each other nations without any unfriendly, hostile or uncooperative behaviors. It is which is based on the humanitarian international actions so as to have a purposeful investment into the international relationships that builds in great community of peace and prosperity. So where does the philosophy come from? We have it innate in our concept of culture, customs or traditions, you may call it Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We believe in a collectivism of a family system all over the world. So there are basically different types of international types of international types of models of governance. So one is realism. Realism says that nation will try to influence the other nations in shaping their direction of the policy making. And how is it? Through an example we can understand. India is balancing its relationships among the US and the Russia. So this kind of a aspect of dealing the international relations is called as realism. Next comes the idealism. What is an idealism? It is the common interest between the nations, like India supporting the 1972-71 war in Pakistan, Bangladesh. So we have a common interest between the nations that we have supported Bangladesh in liberation movement. So that is a power balance called the idealism. Then comes the cosmopolitanism, which says that national boundaries have a very limited significance and not just countrymen but everyone deserves a justice. This is why India has accepted the Tibetans who fled the country during the crisis that occurred, and we have taken the refugees into our Indian system. This is why we always give a kind of a reason why we support the Dalai Lama's cause, or we always give him asylum whenever he seeks to. That is cosmopolitanism. And equality of life is another kind of an international aspect where US peacekeeping forces in the Horn of Africa by India, because we feel that everybody deserves a respectful and dignity of life, and we need to support these kind of causes at the international level. So these are the basic few different international ethical aspects, international aspects of governance. And now we get into the actual ethics in international relationships. So one is space, one is power, size of the nation and economy. All this have a very important role in determining the ethics of the international relationship in international relations. Where there is freedom of speech, inequality among the nations, there is poverty, wealth, scientific research agendas are there, different agendas, constructivism, there is cosmopolitan nature of the nations. One nation has a kind of an interest over the other nation because of owing to the cultural boundaries or the kind of economic setup in the other country. So all in all play a very important role in determining the ethics. These are the conditions which are prevailing in today's society. That is why society at the international level, that is why we are intending to have an ethical angle to it, which we'll be able to understand in the further PDF slides, because you have to understand what the ethical aspects are involved in the international relations. So what is the supporting role of ethics in international relations? Ethics, we already know, it's a study of moral code of conduct, like which is the right action or which is the wrong action. So it is providing a guidance to the realm of the international relationships. And how is it providing? One aspect is human rights. Human rights is aiding during the natural disasters like that of Nepal earthquake, during the Rohingyas crisis, during the crisis which has happened recently, like the Syrian refugees have been crossing the borders, and people of European nations and many other nations are welcoming it. It is valuing the human rights. Then we have the sharing of the benefits, which is also known as the collective responsibility of the international world, where the financial resources have to be collectively devolved, and collectivism is the main important thing. That is why climate change talks are failing. This is a very important principle to accomplish any kind of a task. When we want a greenhouse emission gas free climate or the environment to be cleaned, that is where sharing of benefits plays an important role. So we have to go for the principle of common but differentiated responsibilities. Then we have a united for the world security. We need to fight against the terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and tolerance and respect towards this through the cultural exchange programs. Racism issues has to be solved at the US level. That is why ethics is important. We have to make them feel or that blacks are no more inferior. They are equally capable with the whites. There is no superiority, there is no inferiority, everybody is equal. Then we have the accountability issue, because it is a win-win situation. To ensure this situation, there is a responsibility in the stakeholders like India, like a country like ours or any other country. They have this responsibility to ensure that the nation's actions are accountable. Just if you can see the example of Iran or North Korea's nuclear testing behavior, it is evident that it is going in a anti-way to the accountability. They are not accountable to any other organization. They're just going their own way. Then ethics will also help to avoid the ideological clash. Ideological clash is nothing but between various other countries. There are border issues, there are many other issues like economic trade wars going on. So that is the ideological clash. It will also ensure a peaceful world which is there where there is respect for all with equality. So this is why in IMF and UN, United Security Organization also, we are trying to get some reforms done so that equality principle will majorly play a role. We have issues like turmoil situations where humans, women, children are trafficked. There is drug trafficking, there is money which is laundered, and that is evading the taxes system in the country. All this unethical behavior has to be controlled, where the ethics will play an important role, because ethics will give you a priority of doing the right action in the right situation. That is why ethics in international relationship is very important. And then we have this insurgencies and domestic civil wars. We need to reduce the tensions between countries, like the Doklam issue which happened, and Bhutan played a very vital role to neutralize this issue. That is where international ethics plays an important role. This ethics came because of the cultural relation we had with the Bhutan, or the kind of continued importance given to this region. And then we have there are main basic three issues that are still continuing to be existing. One is climate change, terrorism, and rising inequalities, which need to be curbed with cooperation and coordination among the nations. That is where ethics will play an important role. So to conclude, I can say that ethics will make people avoid these undue wars, trade wars, provide an ecosystem where we have a mutual trust, goodwill, as well as the confidence among the countries. That will help to foster a new growth and prosperity in the relations at the international level. And it will also strengthen each other through respecting and considering each other's opinion does matter. Right away placing sanctions on a country is no more the game of today's globalized world. So this is where ethics will play an important role in analyzing the situation and not taking extreme paths. So that is what I have to conclude this slide with. It's an important topic because this will also play an important role in your essay paper as well as the paper 2 international ethics. You can quote some examples from it and what kind of situations the world is going through right now, and what is the importance of ethics. Each of the values which we'll be discussing in the later slides or might have been uploaded prior to this also. You can see all the values at the international level or values at the society level which is important to build a international community for a peace and prosperity of the world as such. So that is it. We end this session, and before ending up you can write a question like what role does ethics play in building a cooperative society? That is what you can write in a 150 word and comment down below, so that we'll be able to modify your answer. So keep loving, keep sharing our channel, like, share, subscribe, and keep learning, and we come up with many more lecture series on this ethics, integrity and aptitude. Jai Hind.